From this tutorial, we will start new series for chemical engineering. In this series, we will create drawings from basic to advanced levels. We will start with this coal carbonization block flow diagram. If you want to learn AutoCAD from very basic level, then link to complete playlist is given in the description. Click here, scroll down and select AutoCAD-ISO.dwt. In this, at first we will create this rectangle and we will place text. Click on rectangle, click first point, take your cursor away and specify second point. Then zoom it. Then click on multi-line text. Then specify first corner, take your cursor away and specify opposite corner. Then type carbonizer. Then click outside. Now text is very small. Double click on it. Then select it and increase the height. Suppose we will make it 20. Enter. Click outside. 20 is also smaller. Again double click on it. Select it and make it 45. Enter. We can still increase it. Suppose we will make it 55. Enter. Click outside. Then zoom minus. Then we will copy this block here. For that, click on copy. Select this object. Enter. Specify base point. I will click here. Then make ortho on. For straight movements, take your cursor on this side and click and enter. Then this is primary fractionator. Just double click. Then select it and type primary. Enter and click outside. Then we can align it centrally. Just double click on it. Select this text and click here on center and click outside. And if you want to adjust the position, you can use the move command. Click on move. Select this text. Enter. Click base point and adjust the position and click. Then zoom minus. Then we will create these 4 blocks. For that, again click on rectangle, pan it below, specify first point, take your cursor on this side and click. Then we will copy this text. Click on copy, select this text, enter, specify base point, make ortho off and click here. Enter. Then this is sulfur recovery. Just double click and type sulfur. Enter recovery. Click outside. Then we want 4 copies of this. Click on copy. Select this object. Enter, specify base point. For straight movements, click on ortho mode. Make it on. When it is on, it is shown in blue color. Then take your cursor below and click 4 times. Pan it. Enter. Then this is phenols recovery. Just double click and write there phenols. Then oils and pitch distillation. Enter. Then we will create this line and this arrow. Click on line, specify first point, take your cursor on the right side, take your cursor to this midpoint, take it above and click and press enter. Then zoom it. Then we have to create one arrow here. For that again click on line, specify first point here, make ortho off, take your cursor in this direction and click enter. Then we will mirror this line, click on mirror, select this line, enter, specify first point of mirror line, click on this end point, take your cursor on this side, ensure that your line is straight, click, and erase source objects, no. Then we will create one arc here. For that click on 3-point arc, specify a first point, then take your cursor to this end point and drag that point, don't click there, take it away and click here, then click on this end point. Then to fill this arrow we will use hatch command. Click on hatch, then click on solid, then click inside this arrow, then click on close hatch creation, zoom minus. So we'll adjust this arrow, we'll just stretch it outside, click on stretch, click on the right side in the empty space, take your cursor on the left side and click enter, and specify base point, take your cursor on this side, make ortho on and click and erase this hatch, enter, select this hatch, enter. We will again apply hatch, click on hatch and click inside this arrow, enter and zoom minus. Now this arrow is looking proper. Then we will need one text here, we will copy this, click on copy, select this text, enter, click here for base point, make ortho off, click here, enter, then double click and write there cool. Then one is required for air, we will copy this below, click on copy, select this object, enter, specify base point, take your cursor below and click enter and make it air. Then we will need arrow here, again copy, select this object, enter, specify base point here and click on this midpoint. Then we will also need arrows for all of them, so we will just copy here also on these midpoints, enter. Then we will trim this, for trim type tr, enter, enter and click and enter. Then next is this circle and this arrow, click on circle, specify center point, take your cursor away and click. Then we need one arrow, we will use this arrow, click on copy, select this arrow, enter, click on this midpoint and click on this center point, enter. Then we will rotate this arrow, click on rotate, select this arrow, enter, base point will be this midpoint, then give the rotation angle of 45 degree, enter. Then we will have to reduce the scale of this arrow, for that click on scale, select this object, enter, specify base point at this midpoint, then specify the scale of 0.5, enter. Now it is looking very small, we will increase its size, again click on scale, Select this object, enter specify base point and make it 1.3. Enter. Now it is looking proper. Then we will create these lines. Click on line, click on this midpoint, take your cursor above and take it to this quadrant. Track that point. For tracking, take your cursor to the reference point and take it away. Then click and click. Enter. Then again enter. You can press enter to repeat the last command. Press enter and click on this endpoint. Then click on this intersection point. Enter, enter. Click on this end and click on this intersection point. Enter. So this is almost ready. Then we need one arrow for this stem. We will again copy this arrow. Click on copy. Select this object, enter, specify base point, take it below and click and enter. Then we need to rotate this arrow. For that, click on rotate, select this object, enter, specify base point, take your cursor above and click. Then to reduce the size of this line, click on this line, click on this blue grip, take your cursor above, make ortho on and click. Then we will move this arrow, press escape, click on move, select this object, enter, click on this endpoint, make ortho off, then take your cursor to this endpoint, take it away, it will track it, click. Then we will further reduce the size of this line, click on it, click on this blue grip, take it above and click. Then we will create one horizontal line. Click on line, click on this endpoint, take your cursor on this side and click. Enter. Then we need to write their stream. For that we will copy this text. Click on copy, select this text, enter, specify base point and zoom here and click. Enter. Then double click, select it and type their stream. Click outside. Then we need these arrows going outside. You can also type CO for copy. Enter, select this object, enter, specify this endpoint as base point and click on this midpoint and click here. Enter. Then we will stretch it. Click on stretch. Then click here, take your cursor on the left side and click. Enter and click on this endpoint. At first we will match it. Click. Then press enter. Then again click in empty space. Take your cursor on the left side. Click. Enter. Zoom minus. Specify base point. Take your cursor on the right side. Make ortho on and click. Then one line is needed here. Click on line. Take your cursor on this endpoint. Take it away. Then click. Take it above. Take your cursor to this endpoint. Track it and click and enter. Then click on this line. Click on this blue grip and click on this endpoint. Escape. Then we need text here. Again click on copy. Select this text. Enter. Specify base point here. Make ortho off and click here. Here. Enter. Then it is net fuel gas and sulfur. Double click. Now here it automatically became two line text. To make it single line text, Take your cursor on these inclined lines. Then it will show arrow like this. Then press and hold first mouse button and drag the mouse until it becomes single line text and release the mouse and click outside. Then double click sulfur, click outside. Then we will copy this below. Click on copy, select this object, enter, then specify this endpoint as a base point and this endpoint as a second point. Enter. We want this below, we will mirror this. Click on mirror, select this object, enter, then click on this endpoint. For first point of mirror line, take your cursor on the right side, ensure that your line is straight, click, then erase source objects, yes, then move this on upper side, click on move, select this object, enter, specify base point, take it above and click. Then this is phenols and net water liquids, and this is required to be left align. Click here on left, again double click, then to bring it near, take your cursor on these three lines. Once it shows inclined arrow, press and hold first mouse button and take your cursor away, then select it and make it left align, click outside. Then same is required below, we will copy it. You can also give copy command by typing. For copy, type CO, enter, then select this object, enter, then specify this endpoint as base point and click here for second points, enter. Then light aromatics and middle oils, double click. Now it is shifted to second line. To bring it back in single line, take your cursor to these arrows, press and hold first mouse button and take your cursor away and release and click outside. You can also do it earlier rather than after arising of the problem. Click outside. Then heavy oils and pitch. Double click. Again increase the size by holding first mouse button and dragging it. Click outside. Then we need to connect these lines. Click on line. Click on this midpoint. Take your cursor on this side. Take it below. Drag this endpoint and click enter. Then click on this line. Click on this square blue box and click on this endpoint. Escape. Then one connection from here. Click on line. Click on this midpoint. Drag this endpoint. Click enter. Click on this line. Click on this box. Click escape. Then this line. Click on line. Take your cursor to this endpoint. Drag that point. Take your cursor above and click. Then make ortho on. Then drag this endpoint, click, take it below and take it outside. Drag this endpoint and click and enter. Then we will copy this arrow here. Type CO for copy, enter, select this object, enter, click on this endpoint and this endpoint, enter. Then text, copy this text, type CO, enter, copy this, enter, specify base point, take it below and click enter, double click, click outside, take it above, type M for move, enter, select this text, enter, specify base point here, take your cursor above and click. Then this one, click on line, click on this midpoint, take your cursor below, click, take it on this side, track this end point, click enter. Then copy this text and arrow, click on copy, select this text and this arrow, enter, specify base point at this end point and click enter, and double click, click outside, and assign this thickness. For that, click on this layer properties, click here on default and select this thickness. Okay, close this dialog box. Then to show the thickness, click here on show height line width, where the thickness is shown. So this drawing is ready. In the next tutorial, we will create next chemical engineering drawing, and we will also continue our AutoCAD basic tutorials, and we will also solve exercises on those tutorials, and we will also continue our civil, electrical and interior design tutorials. So thanks for watching. We will stop here.